Meaningful feedback is a very important part of any learning environment, allowing learners to monitor and track their performance while making sure they're on the right path towards their goals. Feedback is also a valuable tool for educators, with discussions with learners helping instructors to assess the effectiveness of their materials and approve processes. In a traditional classroom, educators can provide direct face-to-face feedback to our learners in real time. This can be harder for online learners, completing self-paced modules and courses in the comfort of their own home or office. However, having access to meaningful feedback is just as important for these learners. Meaningful feedback is an essential component of keeping students motivated and engaged with the learning material. When students can see that you're genuinely interested in their success, they'll feel greater levels of engagement and motivation. Providing effective feedback helps e-learners to get the most of online materials and can have a significant impact on overall learning performance outcomes. When learning online, feedback allows the learner to assess their progress and determine potential areas of self-improvement. It promotes self-reflection, increases knowledge retention, and encourages productive growth. Consider these 5 principles when providing feedback in your online course. Feedback format. In an online course, feedback can occur in different formats: written, verbal, or video. Instructors can provide written feedback directly in their learning management system or in the assignment submission itself. In addition to written feedback, some LMSs like Canvas and Blackboard have built-in voice and video recorders that allow instructors to provide feedback directly connected to the allocated grade. Turnaround time. When offering meaningful feedback to students, a timely response is an effective approach, especially in online courses. It helps to avoid content disconnection and student isolation. A general rule of thumb is to maintain a maximum of 48 to 72 hours to provide feedback on assignments. If students have to wait several days or a week for a grade on an assignment, feedback may not offer the opportunity for students to reflect, correct, and extend their performance. Students should be able to use feedback on assignments to influence the product of future work. Instructor and peer feedback. While instructor feedback is essential for student progress, the power of feedback cannot go unnoticed in online courses. Students can often synthesize and reteach the content to their peers, which enhances the learning process. Leveraging the power of student feedback not only offers the opportunity to spark deeper, innovative thoughts on assignments, but it also supports increased mastery of content. You can facilitate this process through your LMS discussion board. Additionally, you could use a tool such as VoiceThread, which allows instructors and students to provide written, verbal, and/or video feedback in a presentation format. Peer feedback also heightens social presence in online environments because it provides an inclusive atmosphere where students are more apt to openly share and support one another. Be descriptive. Descriptive feedback provides students information that builds on the student's strengths, points out areas of concern, and gives realistic suggestions for success. Students learn where to concentrate their efforts and spend more time. Following are 3 ways you can provide this kind of feedback. Met, not yet met, and I noticed. This focus is on aspects of quality or progress within the student's work against criteria that has been set. The instructor places a check mark on either met or not yet met column based on the student's performance against their criteria, then adds a brief comment in the I noticed column that focuses on quality or progress of the work from the last task. More of, less of. The focus here is on helping students to see where to concentrate their efforts and on what specific aspects. It's an excellent way to give feedback at a midpoint. Feedback is given in relation to the criteria with 2 to 3 suggestions for what the student needs to do more of and what needs to do less of to be successful on the task. Key questions. This focuses on giving students suggestions that build off their strengths and provide specific information, 1 or 2 points, to meet their targeted goals. Feedback is given against the criteria using the following questions as a prompt. What's working? What's not working? What's next? By providing feedback on what is working, students can build on their strengths, while considering next steps on what is not yet working. Tone. When providing feedback to learners online, it's important to consider tone. Remember that in a virtual classroom, neither the instructor nor the student has the visual cues of face-to-face communication. This also means students have fewer methods for determining whether their efforts are comparable to those of their peers and for assessing how they are doing in the class. Students will use the cues that are available, virtually all of them in writing, to help them understand the classroom climate. Therefore, how the instructor shapes the course climate through written comments and the tone of communications to students is particularly important. Be sure to humanize the course. Remember that although you are teaching online, you are still teaching real people, so it helps if you and your students can put names with faces. Develop a portion of the course website to post pictures and brief bios of students. Avoid general broadcast questions. An online course is not a collective, but rather many individuals all reading messages separately. So, a broadcast message like, "Are you doing the reading?" is hard for a student sitting at his or her own computer to interpret. Consider the tone of your own responses to students. Attitude comes in through writing. Are you sounding impatient, supportive? Praise and model the appropriate tone to use in the online environment. Use threaded discussions for group conversations. Use private emails to comment on individual student contributions and criticism. Now that we have gone over the 5 key elements to providing descriptive and timely feedback in your online course, be sure to intentionally address these in your planning process.